Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for this week ahead, starting Wednesday the 9th of August through to Tuesday the 15th of August 2023. I was nearly going to say 22, but I didn't until I did. So welcome. It is early in the morning here. It's 7:45 a.m. on Wednesday the 9th of August, and the sun is just coming up over the hills, and I think it might be a beautiful day. We might be in store for a beautiful day, which would be lovely. So I trust this video finds you well and things are flowing well for you in your life. And if things aren't, then I trust that you find some advice or some perspective or some different angle, something to help get the energy moving and shift things for you in this guidance video. So welcome to my Pillar of Light members, my patrons, and also all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. If it wasn't for you supporting me now and those of you who supported me in the past, then I wouldn't be here doing this. So I'm very, very grateful. And on that note, if you haven't supported for a while or ever, and you get a lot out of my videos, then please consider having a look on my website, grabbing yourself a deck of cards or becoming a member or something, and that support would be fantastic. Hi Karen and Valerie, welcome. So if you're new to watching, what I'll be doing is using my oracle cards that I created. I have combined two decks together, the Speed of Light oracle cards and my Animal Kingdom oracle cards, to make a 110 card deck. And I'm going to be using this deck to find the best cards that the majority of us need for this week ahead. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust 100% that you've been led here for a reason, and what that reason is will be up to you to determine and be open to as you're listening and receiving. So I'm sitting here trusting my intuition as I deliver and interpret and share what needs to be shared and what I feel is important to share. Not that I'm holding anything back, but whatever comes out of my mouth, I trust is important. And it's up to you to trust your intuition in regards to you taking on board the parts that speak to you personally. So think of this as a guide only, and let's see what we've potentially got in store for this week ahead. So while I'm shuffling before I start my intention for the new cards, just a quick recap on last week's theme. The theme was about resources. We had the medicine pouch with the wolf, which was about boundaries. So securing our boundaries, saving or looking at our finances or our resources and where we may need to save or where we may need to conserve, or put things aside, or even realize that things may not be as dire and terrible as what we may think, and making sure our boundaries have been nice and strong and clear and supportive and honest, and that they hadn't become castle walls that we needed to hide behind. So that's from last week. This week now I'm turning my attention, and usually I would do this in my head, but instead of sitting here thinking it in my head, I'm going to sit here and speak it. So I'm asking the cards now to show the majority of us what we need to know for this week ahead, starting Wednesday the 9th of August through to Tuesday the 15th of August 2023. I trust in my cards, and I trust the best cards that we need will find their way to the top of the deck based on the way that I choose my cards. So I'm very clear about that, and that makes for a clearer reading. So the best cards for us for this week are these, and I'm going to lay them out here face down to begin with. So we're going to go for just two of each, and then three, which we've got four Animal Kingdom and 3 speed of light. So I'm going to turn the cards over. Let's see what we've got. Well, we're starting with the dragon. In fact, I don't even want to turn over any more cards yet. I think I'm going to turn these over one at a time, at least for now. I may turn more over later, but I'm just going to get started because we've got a dragon and I want to just focus on this without looking at the other cards for some reason. So this is for Wednesday, the 9th of August, and our dragon, I'm not giving you any time to give me your dragon guesses, but that doesn't matter for this week. Our dragon is the Air Dragon, card 27. Now, if you're new to the cards, in the Animal Kingdom Oracle cards, there are 5 dragons, and they're the most powerful cards in the entire deck of 110 cards. You can't hear me? Okay, let me just pull my microphone up and make sure it's plugged in. I feel like I'm speaking very loudly. So, can you hear me better now, Valerie? Let me know. So the Air Dragon is one of the 5 dragons, the most powerful cards in the deck. So before I even read what it says down here, this is showing that Wednesday the 9th of August is potentially quite a powerful day. And it is in relation to the Air Dragon, the air element. And down here it says, your mind is powerful. So this is very much on a mental level. So looking at how we can work with our mind, our intentions, our determination, our ability to focus, our ability to conjure up new ideas and be inspired, to remain curious. Thanks, Valerie. And how we can put our mind to productive, supportive, healthy work for us, if you like. Work might not be the best word, but how we can use our mind to support us and help us pull forward in our life. And I do feel this pulling forward or a pushing forward, but it's a pull forward. We're being pulled into something. Are we being pulled into change? Are we being pulled into new beginnings? Are we being pulled into the unknown? Well, we're always being pulled into the unknown, and we're always being pulled into change, really, because that's always present. We're not necessarily always being pulled into new beginnings, so it just depends where we're at. But what are we being pulled into? Are we being pulled into, is something new enticing us? Or are we considering, what are we thinking about or considering that can potentially pull us forward in our life? And maybe we're at a crunch time where we've got a decision that needs to be made and we're feeling on what's the best way to go with this decision. And maybe there's a strong sense that we should pay attention to the pull that we have in our mind, especially our higher mind. I can't necessarily trust in my lower mind. I do feel that from my experience and what I've noticed that there are 2 kind of aspects of our mind. The lower mind can take over, and that's the part of our mind that consists of doubt and entropy and insecurities, limitations, the parts about ourselves that hold us back, keep us small. And that part of my mind I can't trust, because that part of my mind wants to keep me small and it wants to keep me little. It wants to keep itself alive. And the only way to keep the lower mind alive, or whatever you might call it, is to stay in that low place. So my lower mind, my ego, or the voice of my hurt and pain, doesn't have my best interest at heart. And I know that from my experience. So I can't trust it. So I don't want it to be in the driver's seat of my life. I don't want it to be taking over, and I don't want it to be in control of where I'm steering my life. I have to keep that down. I have to keep it in the background. I have to keep it, like if I'm driving a vehicle through my life, I don't want it in the driver's seat, and I don't even want it in the passenger seat. I want to put it right down in the back of the vehicle where it can just muck around back there, because it's not something I can completely eliminate or be rid of, because it's just it's a part of us all. It's whether it's loud and dominant or whether it's in the background and doing its own thing. I think of it as 2 little children playing in the back, like right in the back of the vehicle if I had a wagon or something. And it's right in the back and they're playing like a board game or something. That's how I imagine my lower self to be. Now, when doubt creeps in, then those children, or what that represents, that's coming closer to the driver's seat. It might be in the back seat or the passenger seat or the driver's seat, and I don't want it there. But I do notice when it comes there, because I want to see, okay, what is it bringing up that I need to learn or I need to consider, or what is an issue that I have with this particular thing that's going on in my life that needs some addressing and resolving, so that I can get my higher mind into the driver's seat, because I can trust that, and I also can trust my heart. And when our heart and our higher mind have kind of united and joined together in a way, then it's quite the force. That's that union of masculine and feminine within us, or light and dark, if you like. But we are, I guess it's also like a balanced state that's driving us forward. So maybe something also to consider is, where's your lower mind sitting at the moment in your vehicle that's driving through your life? And if it's taking over, then it may be worth looking at how you can drop that back and let your higher mind sort of step into gear and step into place. So this is the air dragon. Your mind is powerful, and our mind can certainly be our biggest asset, especially if we're aligned with our higher mind and that's in the driver's seat, or it can be our biggest enemy if our lower mind is in the driver's seat, because it will want to steer us off the cliff. It will want to keep us small, and it will want to keep us going around in circles. And it will throw up resistance when we're about to start something new that's good for us. So let's turn over the card for Thursday. In fact, I'm not going to look at it. It's Speed of Light. I'm going to hold it up here. Okay, Thursday, the 10th of August, we have card 22, the Lotus Heart. Speaking of heart, it says Om mantra, meditate, reconnect, and peace. This is about settling into our heart. And really now, because I've already mentioned it, and we've got the higher mind coming in with the air dragon, we've got the heart coming in with the lotus heart, that I do feel this union, this coming together of our higher mind and our heart is significant, especially over Wednesday and Thursday at least. So Wednesday, very much the higher mind. Thursday, the heart. So what does your heart want? What does our heart want or need at this time? Because what we want and what we need can be two different things. So it can be interesting to sit with the question, what does my heart, or what do I want? And what does my heart, or what do I need? And seeing what the answers are. I can trust also what I need, and not necessarily 100% on what I want. So, because I don't know really why, I need to give that some thought, don't I? But I feel like I can trust more in being aligned with what I need. Well, I think it is because I finished that sentence with what I need for my highest truth, rather than what I want. What do I want for myself? What do I want for my life? There's a different energy there, but I align more with what I need for my highest truth. So your heart, finding peace, there might be something on Thursday that activates that potential for us. And maybe consider, if you resonate with the vehicle analogy of the lower mind and the higher mind in the vehicle, and who's in the driver's seat, who's steering the way, maybe it might be worth also considering or contemplating, where does my heart sit here? Is my heart united with my higher mind? Are they working together? Are they on the same page? Or are they at battle? Is my mind conflicting with what my heart wants? Well, almost guaranteed, maybe 99%, that if there is a conflict between head and heart, it's probably the head of the lower mind that is at conflict with the heart, because the heart feels untainted to me. And if the heart is tangled up with the lower mind and the doubt and the issues that we carry on a lower mind level, then the heart will be full of the issues that stop it as well, if you like. So if we can get the lower mind out of the heart and out of the driver's seat, and see if we can unite our heart with our higher mind, and what our higher mind, how do we define that? If we can get those working together, then that's going to be quite the force in getting our vehicle and getting ourselves going somewhere. So reconnecting with our heart is important for Thursday. Now, Friday, I'm again just going to reveal the card as it comes up. So, Friday the 11th is the Doe, card 41, and it says to feel deeply, to really pay attention to how we feel on Friday. What is happening in our body? That's where, when I slip into deep feeling, I'm also slipping into my body and feeling the deep feelings, or paying attention to the deep feeling that I've got stored or that's moving in my body, because I find them very much linked together. So there might be deep feeling, there might be an emotional energy as well for some of us on Friday, a sensitivity that may come up, and we're being encouraged to pay attention to it. That actually our emotions are an indicator, and they show us where we are at in regards to our balance, or what part of or aspect of us is in the driver's seat. Are we letting our doubts and our worries and our stresses be, and our fear be in behind the steering wheel? So it's important to be aware of, I find, our emotional state as well. So it's all linking in here. Mind, heart, emotions now are coming into this. So this feels like we're getting all little snippets of the bigger picture, or the pieces of the puzzle are coming in. And it might be something that we've got that's a bit puzzling at this time, that we're a bit unsure about, or a lot unsure about. And feels like these are little pieces of the puzzle coming together. So see how you feel with that. The Doe also brings movement. And it's interesting, the air dragon about the mind, the lotus heart, these feel very much more like a dropping in feeling. And the Doe is about movement. So it's like now we can get the vehicle moving. So our emotions want to be in motion. It's natural for our emotions to be moving and flowing and have that sense of motion. So maybe the Doe is also about, the days prior or the time prior, we're dropping into and sorting out who's driving and what's driving our vehicle. And then by the time we get to Friday, there's a movement forward, like we can put our foot in the accelerator and get things moving. Things may be hovering at the moment, where maybe we are unsure. Maybe something we thought we were clear about is no longer clear anymore. Maybe other things have been thrown in and we're like, okay, now I'm back to square one. What am I going to do here? So there is this hovering, the vehicle not really moving much over the next couple of days, but I do feel it's probably going to move on Friday. Now let's look at Saturday, the 12th of August, and we have the focus card, card 38, and it says holding position, timing and growth. This is a bit of a fixed card. It's showing that the path we have walked on this illustration, that this is the path we've walked to get to this point in our life. So this is our past. And it's really encompasses, it could be the recent past, but it usually encompasses pretty much our entire past that's led us to this moment in our life, this pivotal moment here. And every moment is pivotal at the time when it's a moment. And then it flows on to the next moment and then becomes the past. So every step that we've taken, every moment that we've gone through in the past has led us to this point. And this is about really owning the decisions that we've made and the choices that we made and the path that we've taken to get to this point. This card also warns in some way against naysayers and people that just may not understand our point of view or the position where we find ourselves. But we're being encouraged to hold strong and true to our heart and our position. So there is a bit of a fixed feeling here, but it's also owning and taking responsibility of where we find ourselves now, that we are not victims of the past, but we are, it feels like, empowered and learning and growing from the past that has made us the person that we are today. And if we don't like that person we are today, then that's also up for us to contemplate and explore so that we can make some personal changes and perhaps consider taking steps to becoming a better version of ourselves. Okay, so they're the upper four Saturday. So now we've got Sunday, the 13th of August, and we've got integration, card 19. It says settling, grounding, nature, and calm. So far out of the five cards, there's only one card, which is the doe for Friday, that has energy moving. Every other card is fairly fixed, including this. This is sort of staying put. So there is, without looking at the last two cards, there is a general feeling that things may not move a lot this week. We may be fairly busy, but there might not be a lot of progress that's made. There might not be a lot of movement that occurs, at least that we are aware of. In our life, it might be fairly fixed. We might drop into things and hover there for a little bit. So that's something to keep in mind. But the integration card, this is a really good card for Sunday because it shows us settling and things are grounding, and we're starting to integrate at a deeper level the truths and the things that we've determined and the things that perhaps we want to do or we're working out for our future. There is a nature element to this card as well, so some of us may be drawn to nature, and maybe just a general restful and bit of a slower day for Sunday as we integrate like integrating changes, anchoring the healing, settling into ourselves, finding acceptance. This sort of thing is like an integrating, anchoring, sort of dropping in feeling, which I have actually already spoken about, really. So this is things coming together, and it almost feels, if you resonate with the vehicle analogy, that it feels like this union. We've got masculine, feminine. This is the union within us, heart and higher mind, we could say. And this dropping into the driver's seat of our life, like in a more serious and real way. And maybe it's something we play with up until Sunday. Maybe it's something we're playing with and figuring out what is in the driver's seat of our life, what isn't, and where are things positioned. Where are we positioned in this vehicle, and who's got control of the steering wheel and the accelerator and the brake? And this might be something to really consider this week. And then by the time we get to Sunday, there's this dropping in feeling like we really are in the driver's seat of our life. And where do we want to take this car? Where do we want to take this vehicle in our life and moving forward now? What do we want for the coming weeks and months and years potentially? So then we move to Monday, the 14th of August. Oh, we have the Dolphin, card 6. And it says that it's a time to celebrate. So this is breaching the waters. This is fireworks going off. This is a cause for celebration on Monday. So there's probably something to celebrate. It could be good news that we're celebrating. It could be that we've come out the other side and we're feeling grounded and we're feeling clearer and we're feeling integrated. We're feeling like we really are in that driver's seat. We're taking responsibility of where we lead ourselves and where we steer our vehicle and the road and the path that we take. So, and there might be something to celebrate, maybe a birthday or an anniversary or some good news or something that occurs on Monday. There could also be a dropping into gratitude, because gratitude really helps ground things in our life. It really helps ground us really into that driver's seat of our vehicle, if you resonate with that. So at the very least, practicing gratitude. Well, all the time, but especially prevalent for Monday. So then the last card for the reading week is Tuesday the 15th. And we have the cheetah again. We had the cheetah last week, card 4. And it says to focus on your strengths. So this is very much about focusing on the things that we're strong at, the things that are working, the people that are there, the things that we do have, and really being careful that we're not taking those things for granted, those people, those our good health, our vitality, hopefully that we might feel that we're not taking these things for granted, because they really are gifts, they are strengths, why we feel them. And we know that when we observe people who are quite ill or immobile or even at the end of life, that, well, I'm going to make the most of my youth in some ways, or my vitality. And if that's waning or is questionable for some of us at this time too, then making the most of our moments when we do feel okay to pursue and to move and to be active. So that's just an example. But what are our strengths? What have we been taking for granted about our life and about ourselves that we can maybe find more gratitude for and take for granted less? And also being careful, this card highlights kind of a polarity between our strengths and potentially our weaknesses. So if we spend too much time focusing on our weaknesses, then we're throwing ourselves right back to that very first card, the air dragon, where I talked about the doubt and that lower mind. And if that's in control, it's going to persuade us, let's say, or have at the forefront of our mind how weak and how incompetent and how incapable we are. So I think this is also a reminder, this card, to keep that lower mind, that part of ourselves, in check. We have to keep it's like discipline, self-discipline. So self-discipline for our lower mind. And yeah, like I say, I imagine mine are a couple of kids and they're playing right at the back of my vehicle and they're occupied back there doing whatever. But if they start moving forward, then I need to be aware of that so I can get them back into the background, or at least figure out why they've come forward, what is my issue that I need to look at and resolve, and then put them back in that back. I don't want them making their way to the front. You know, I don't want a couple of 3-year-olds behind the wheel of my vehicle that's steering me in my life, because I can't trust where they want to take me. They might want to take me to the lolly shop or to the movies, where I would like to go somewhere more meaningful. But they can be much more disruptive than that as well, that energy. So by the end of the week, or I feel like actually an overview of this week, it feels like there could be a figuring out and a battle, perhaps for some of us, between our head and our heart, which is, in other words, our lower mind and our heart, or our lower mind and our higher mind, depends where this energy sits for us personally. And we're working out where things sit. And it is, in some ways, finding order in the chaos and getting things into order in our vehicle, which is basically into order within ourselves on a mental, emotional level, especially on a heart level as well. So that's that for this week. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for the theme in just a moment. Before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. If you're watching on Facebook, please comment, please share if you're inspired to. And if you would prefer, please reach out privately and let me know how you found this video. It will be up on Facebook tomorrow, because I can't get the videos straight over. It takes a while for them to process on YouTube. So we've got a few things coming up actually next Friday. Can't believe it seems every week seems to be flying by. But next Friday on the 18th of August are my next online classes or clubs or connections, gatherings. You're very welcome to join. Hi, Katie. So we have my next card reading club. If you want to play with your cards on a deeper level and really get and figure out or understand how they can support you and guide you and offer you perspective in your life, then you're very welcome to join me for my card reading club. Our focus, our theme is Dragon Treasure, I think. So really looking at the powerful treasures in our life and what's blocking us from seeing the gifts that are potentially available. That goes for an hour on Friday Australian time. It may be Thursday for you. And also on the 18th of August Australian time is my next online art class. I highly, highly recommend. If you're sitting there on your own, you've got no connections or very few, and you're feeling lonely, and maybe you've got a bit of a creative urge that you want to create more in your life, I highly recommend these art classes. They're pretty incredible for a way for us to connect with people of like mind. The conversations we have are quite deep and quite meaningful. And for this theme, for this particular class coming up, is the second of 4. You don't have to come to them all. of self-exploration, and we're going to be doing self-portrait. And I can tell you, these are powerful and very, very interesting and revealing about us. So if you would like, if you have that pull to go deeper and you'd like to connect with others and you'd like to open up your creativity, I can't recommend the art class high enough. It's really, really powerful. So check out my online events on my website at templeofbalance.com.au. You can find them there on the home page. They're recorded for those who purchase if you can't make it live, but see what you feel. And if you'd like to learn more about me and my cards and the things I do at Temple of Balance, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Okay, our theme card. It's quite an very interesting week. And we might find, I think, there's like 3 cards here that have more action in them after I've revealed the last 2. So we've got the doe, the dolphin, and the cheetah. I find those quite actionable cards, whereas those other 4 that out of the first 5 are quite a bit more fixed, so they're a little bit more like dropping inward, whereas the other 3 cards are more about action. So there seems to be some things that might hover, and then we might feel progress that move on other things, and there's just this general kind of juggling perhaps with internal things that we've got going on mentally, emotionally especially, and external things that reflect that, and working out our balance, the yin yang, the union between these polarities, that if we focus too much on one of these, it knocks the other out of balance. So in many aspects of our life, and when we are aware of it, there are always polarities playing out. Dark and light, heaven and earth, strengths and weaknesses. There are always higher and lower mind. There are always duality playing out. And the louder they become, the more conflict we are with ourselves, and conflicts are present in our life. So I feel like, and I'm feeling more and more every day, like one of our big purposes in being here in this physical body is to master or work out that union, that balance in our life between the yin and the yang. Because too much of one and neglection of the other is going to create a divide, a separation, a conflict. And when we can master this balance and how it works for us and our personality within ourselves, then it also leads to more balanced relationships and then balanced life as well. It's plays out everywhere, and I'm just sort of, I really feel it's a big important part of why we're here, is to figure this polarity out and find the balance. So anyway, our theme card I'm looking for now, the best theme card for the majority of us from the 9th till the 15th of August 2023. And our best card for the theme, as the sun comes out, kind of teased me for a minute behind a cloud, is this Animal Kingdom Oracle card. And we have the Orca Whale. So first of all, the first thing I'm noticing here is the black and white. So the yin, the yang energy, the black and white, the polarities playing out. What's loud right now, and how can you bring its opposite up? How can you bring its opposite into form to work with whatever's loud? So that's something, I guess, to work out depending on what you've got going on. The Orca Whale card 28, and it says living your purpose. There is a mother, or not necessarily mother, but a parent-child connection here as well that may be strong this week. And my eldest is having a birthday, which is always exciting. Takes me back to, it's interesting, isn't it? It's not that long ago they seemed like little children. Now they're grown adults. But that may be important for some of us this week. But this is very much about living our purpose and finding it in our days. How can we live as purposefully as we can each day as much as possible, rather than setting a big goal that we're some pie in the sky dream perhaps that we're going towards, like some finish line that we're working towards. And yes, there are goals. Goals are great to have in our life, doable goals that we can work towards and give us our brain a chance to create a path towards that goal, because that's very personally fulfilling. But on a purpose level, unless you're training for something specific, I find that in general, most people, or a lot of people, I find their purpose is something that they want to be. Like, I want to be a healer, or I want to be a teacher, or whatever it might be. But how can we bring or wind that back to our present day? How can we embody or work towards or learn towards that goal in our everyday? How can we find purpose and meaning in our day? How can we wake up in the morning with more excitement and motivation to get into our day, because we are creating a day of purpose and personal meaning to us? So I find living my purpose is a daily thing, that I'm looking at my balance and being aware of that, making adjustments as needed, dealing with whatever I've got going on, and looking for how I can find and finish my day with a sense of purpose and making each day count. So our purpose, it might be at the tip of our tongue with the things that we're doing this week. What brings purpose and meaning for us, and what can we do to move towards that? And it might be study or learning. It might be just finding peace with where we are now. It might be putting time and effort into our relationships, or our hobbies, or our interests, or our work, or the things that we enjoy doing. So where does your purpose sit? And maybe the purpose, if we look back at the vehicle analogy, maybe our purpose is the vehicle that drives us, or that contains us as we drive it through our life. Maybe our purpose is the actual vehicle. And if our purpose is lacking, or has waned, or doesn't feel very strong, maybe some of us don't even feel like we've got a vehicle that we're driving, because things are just so scattered and up in the air, and there's no purpose at all for us. So maybe this week, and bringing things together, is also about figuring out our vehicle itself, what is taking us places. And it may be setting some goals, some doable goals as well, for some of us, to give us a reason to wake up in the morning. So there are our cards for this week. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week ahead, and sending you lots of love. I'll see you again soon. Bye.